Welcome to this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Amanda Weber.
And I'm George Stricker.
Today we have Anne-Marie Sharp. She's the president of Phi Mu fraternity. And we'll just start at the basics. Why did you choose to attend SAU?
Well, my original plan was to not attend SAU. I originally went to the University of Central Arkansas for my first semester of school. I thought that going up there would help me to get away from the small town. I grew up in Smackover, Arkansas, which is about 45 minutes from here. And I thought that it would help me to experience more than a small town. I got up there and decided I didn't like it. It was just too big for me. The people were not as friendly as I would have expected, and so that's why I decided to come down here to SAU.
I understand.
Well, since you're the president of Phi Mu, I'm just going to get right into that. What would be the requirements for the fraternity?
In order to go through Rush, to initially go through Rush and to start pledging, you have to have 12 hours on the SAU campus. You have had to have already earned the 12 hours. And you have to have a grade point of a 2.3. And once you become a pledge or a member, you just have to keep a 2.0 grade point average.
Well, when you first came to SAU, was being in a sorority something that you really wanted to do, or did you have to think about it? Or
it really wasn't something I ever thought about doing. It was actually the farthest thing from my mind. But when I got here, the girl I lived next door to in the dorms, she was a member of Phi Mu sorority, and so I decided that, you know, the girls were great, and I decided I wanted to go through Rush, and Phi Mu was the only choice for me. So,
Why is it that they call Phi Mu a fraternity?
Well, Phi Mu is called a fraternity because when we were founded in 1852, it was before the word sorority was actually invented, so we were known as a fraternity. And that confuses people a lot of times because they think we accidentally slip up or that we are a male organization, but we're actually a female organization.
Are there any males involved in Phi Mu, or?
There are no males involved as far as chapters go. We do have 2 males involved in our national office. We have one male who works in the national office in Georgia, and then we have a male who is our technical support. He answers all of our computer questions. If we have any questions as far as our treasurer does everything through programs on the computer, he's the one who we call.
Okay.
Well, how many members are in your fraternity?
We have 40 members right now, and actually we can have 45, so hopefully next semester we'll hope to get up to 45.
Well, tell me about Phi Mu. Is there a lot of things that y'all do for the community and things like that?
We do things for the community. We have just started to get involved with Stew Pot. It's at one of the churches here in town, and what they do is on Monday nights they provide meals for people who can't afford food necessarily, or are, you know, I'm not going to say poor, but not as well off as most, and we help put the meals together. We don't actually prepare the food, but we put them together and box them up to help give out to the community.
And that's important for people to get involved in the community, especially when you're an organization like that.
Right.
So what is your philanthropy and who is your philanthropy?
Our philanthropy, we actually have 2. One is Project Hope, and our other one is Children's Miracle Network. And that Children's Miracle Network is the one we're most involved with. We are associated with Arkansas Children's Hospital. That's when we raise money. None of the money goes to our sorority. It all goes to Children's Miracle Network, and therefore goes to Arkansas Children's Hospital. We help the kids. We make things for them. We make cards. We make put together Easter baskets, Valentine's Day cards, different things to help keep their morale up.
Well, with all that y'all are doing for them, how do you find time to make all that stuff?
Well, a lot of the things that we make for them, we do during recruitment. We have what we call a philanthropy party, and that's when we get to tell the girls that are going through Rush all about what our philanthropy is, and it gives them an opportunity to put their hand in it and help them make stuff for the children.
That's good.
What is Panhellenic?
Panhellenic is an organization composed of the 3 sororities on campus, Alpha Sigma Alpha, Tri Sig, and Phi Mu. 2 representatives from each of those organizations have a meeting every other week, and they discuss things that have to do with the 3 sororities as far as rules during recruitment and that sort of thing.
Well, if someone wanted to go through Rush, what would you advise them to do?
The first thing they need to do is find out as much information as they can about what week it's going to be. The person they would need to contact would be Connie Wilson in Student Activities Office, which is located in the Bruce Center. Then we have a week which is actually called recruitment. The first night is an orientation that lets them know about all 3 sororities and tells them the rules and the regulations and the requirements for being involved. Then they are required during formal recruitment in the spring to go to all 3 of the sororities, and we have what is called information parties. They're not actually parties that, when people think of a party, it's not like that. It's just kind of like a get-together that lasts about 30 minutes, and it gives us a chance to let the girls know what we're about. And what they would need to do is just have an open mind. You go to all 3 of the sororities' parties and find out who you fit in best with.
Who you feel comfortable around, right?
Mm-hmm.
How is your public relations with Greeks, with non-Greeks, and within your sorority?
Our public relations with non-Greeks, I feel like, is good, but could always be better. I would hope that the faculty and students on this campus who are not Greek would have a very high opinion of us. We try to get out there into the community, just as I've said before with Stew Pot, to let people know what we're about. We're not all about partying. We're about helping our organization, the members of our organization, grow and helping our community. And we also do things on campus with the faculty. Every month we choose a faculty member of the month. We all nominate a teacher we feel has really helped out in the classroom, has done a good job, and we vote and we send them an apple and tell them they're the favorite teacher of the month from Phi Mu sorority.
That's good that y'all are able to do that with the community, because a lot of people don't know. They just have a narrow view of Greeks, and even sometimes it's hard when you do all that in the community and with the teachers and professors. It's hard for them to really get to know the girls or the boys, in the fraternities.
Right.
But what is one piece of advice that you would give to a potential Greek?
Just to keep an open mind when you're going through recruitment. Everyone has their own opinion of all 3 sororities and all the fraternities on campus. Everyone is looked at a little bit differently, and you shouldn't go by the stereotypes. You should really try to get to know all the members in each of the organizations. That way you can find out who you're more comfortable with and where you would best fit in and benefit.
Right, because that's important, especially when these are life decisions, you make when you pledge yourself into these groups of people.
What do you think are the benefits for being a Greek?
There are definitely lots of benefits, and a lot of them people don't usually see. The main benefit that I found is lifelong friends. And a lot of times people think that you're buying your friends, and you're really not. It's just like in any other organization where you pay dues. You're around these people all the time, so therefore you get to know them and you grow to love them and their personalities. So making friends is definitely a benefit. Also, I would think it would help you as far as in the workplace. A lot of times, and this has happened recently with one of our new members, you go on an interview and you see on your resume, oh, you're a member of a Greek organization, and that can bring up topics, and it could turn out that they're a member of a Greek organization, and you there automatically have that bond. So.
And that's important when you're going to an interview. You are you're searching for something. Oh, I got a nice shirt. I have a shirt like that. You're looking for something to get that click, and so y'all can talk. Well, with Phi Mu, is it expensive to be in an organization like this, or?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. We are the least expensive on this campus, and we are also one of the least expensive chapters that Phi Mu has nationally. Depending on the school you go to will depend on how much your dues are. Also, how many members you have, because the less members you have, the more you would need to make your dues, because we're not allowed to have fundraisers specifically for our sorority, only for our philanthropy. So any money that comes into the sorority has to be paid through dues. So it depends on how you look at it and how you see the benefits of it.
That's right.
How often does your organization have meetings, and is there a fine if girls don't make it in?
We have meetings. We have what we call chapter development, and it's a meeting to help develop our chapter. We do fun activities. Those are once a week, except for the first week of the month. The first week of the month, we have a meeting on Sundays, which is called our business meeting, and that's a more formal meeting where we try to discuss business only, and at chapter developments, we try not to discuss business so much and just concentrate on having a good time and getting to know each other better.
Yeah.
What are some things that y'all do at your chapter developments? Because I know it has to be hard every week. You're trying to get all these girls to come, and what are some things that y'all do to keep keep it fun, keep Phi Mu fun?
Well, actually, our vice president is in charge of doing chapter developments, and she's done a really great job this semester. She has to come up with activities, games that you might play at like a church camp or something, just any type of little game. The game where you pass the ball a string, then you tell the person you throw it to how much they mean to you, and it's just little things like that. Or we play member charades, where each member gets up and draws one of the other members' names, and they have to try to act them out and have everybody guess who they are. And that lets everybody see how everybody views them.
Right.
It gives you a different light on it.
You don't want to guess, because you want to see how much, what they'll really do about you, to see how far they'll go to, get your name out there for people to guess.
What is the difference between Rushy, Pledge, Member, and the alumni?
A Rushie is a young lady who is going through recruitment. They haven't actually decided who they would like to go through, and the sororities have not actually chosen them. Their choices have to match. A pledge is someone who, let's say for instance, has chosen Phi Mu and Phi Mu has chosen, and they're going through a process that usually lasts 4 to 8 weeks. Where they are learning about the sorority, learning the facts, learning their history, and they don't really have as much standing as a member. Like, they don't really get to vote on a lot of the important things in the sorority, and they aren't allowed at closed meetings. A member is someone who has full rights of the sorority. They've been initiated, and they pay dues, and they can have voice and vote at every meeting as long as they're in good standing. And then an alumni member is someone who has either graduated or withdrawn from school or maybe gotten married, who's no longer active in the sorority but still a member for life.
Well, you spoke about, when a sorority picks you and you pick that sorority. How do people who are going through Rush do that? How does that work with the Panhellenic? Okay, what happens is during formal recruitment in the spring, what they do is after all three sororities have had all three of their parties each night, at the end of the last night, it's on a Thursday night usually, they have what they call bid matching, and each girl puts down 2 choices. They put down their first choice of who they would like to join, and then their second. And they don't have to put 2. If there's only one they would like to join, they just put that one. And then each sorority composes a list of their people in order of how they would like to have them. And if, let's say for instance, if you put Phi Mu as your first choice and Phi Mu has you on their top 10, then those bids match, and then you get a bid from Phi Mu. Well, say I put Phi Mu down as my first choice and then maybe Alpha Sig as my second choice. If I don't get a bid from Phi Mu, do I take Alpha Sigs? How does that work?
If you put them down on your bid card as second and Phi Mu and you don't match, and Alpha Sig has you on their top 10 list, then they match and you take Alpha Sig's bid. Now, if you don't put Alpha Sig down and they have you, then you're not extended a bid from them.
Well, I know most sororities have symbols and the letters and all that, so what is Phi Mu's symbols?
Phi Mu has a couple symbols. We are the lions, and our lion is called Sir Fidel. Our colors are rose and white, and our flower is the rose-colored carnation.
Did y'all have a lot of founders as Phi Mu? I mean, some people have like 10 founders. How many does Phi Mu have?
Phi Mu has 3 founders, and their names are Mary Myrick Daniel, Martha Haraway Redding, and Mary DuPont Lyons. And they founded Phi Mu when they were 15 and 16 years old.
That's amazing to think, here I am 21, and that girl's 15, we're still carrying out traditions that they did.
It's amazing.
15. It is.
Well, what offices are in Phi Mu, and what is everybody's role?
We have several offices. First is president, and they preside over every meeting and are in charge of every officer. Next is vice president. Vice president is in charge of assigning committee chairs, appointing people to committees, and also in charge of chapter developments, coming up with activities that we do, and helping to keep our sisterhood, well. And then we have treasurer, who is obviously in charge of our finances and collecting dues and assigning fines. We have secretary, who takes role at every meeting to make sure that everyone's there, and if they're not there and it's a mandatory meeting, then there is a fine imposed. And they also take minutes at our meetings for anyone who's not there so that they know what went on at the meeting. We have membership director, who is in charge of putting together our recruitment, and we have provisional membership director, who is in charge of teaching our pledges about what Phi Mu is about. We also have our Panhellenic delegate, who is who we have chosen from our sorority to represent us in Panhellenic.
Well, how long is the term in the offices?
The term is for a year, and it's from a calendar year, January to December, rather than academic, except for Panhellenic delegate, and they do an academic year. Like, they'll go from fall to spring, and it's kind of a little backwards that way.
It kind of knocks you off guard sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is Greek Week, and how does it affect you guys?
Greek Week is a week designated for us to do competitions among all the Greek sororities, fraternities on campus. Everyone participates usually. You get participation points for being involved in these activities and competitions, and then you also get assigned a number of points for first, second, and third. And at the end of the week, we do an awards ceremony where there is a sorority winner and a fraternity winner that has the most amount of points. And it's just kind of a way for us to just get together and be Greeks and just have friendly competition.
Well, has Phi Mu won anything in recent years?
Yes, Phi Mu has won Greek Week 2 years in a row, so we're pretty proud of that.
Yes.
What awards has Phi Mu received in the past?
We've won Greek Week. We've been the Student Organization of the Year, Volunteer Organization of the Year, several different awards like that were for our volunteerism.
And that represents the people that's in Phi Mu. If you're that willing to give your time and your effort, that, it shows a lot about not only the organizations, but the girls. If Phi Mu do y'all have awards within yourself, like little silly awards?
Yes, we do. We have awards that we give out at the end of each semester, and we usually do them at formal, and we vote on them ahead of time. We have a lot of silly awards, like the most laid back, the funniest, one called Social Butterfly, and that's kind of one that you would like to get because it shows that you're not cliquish, you're pretty much friends with everybody, and you don't have just one specific group you hang out with. And then we have the more serious awards, like favorite member, favorite big sis within the group that year, favorite pledge sis, one we call Lion's Choice, and just some other awards, favorite member. I think I said that one already, but yeah.
And that's neat, so that, you get to know what your sisters think about you and, who they really think stands out in Phi Mu.
Well, what else considers in your formal besides just the awards?
Well, in formal, we usually get together, and everyone can bring a date or not bring a date. It usually doesn't matter. And you get dressed up, and you come and you have dinner, and you just get to hang out and talk, and it just be kind of like a casual thing where your group of friends that your boyfriend gets to meet someone else's boyfriend who maybe hasn't met already, and you just kind of get to show them off, or you just kind of get to hang out and have a good time.
Well, let me ask you this. It's kind of getting off Phi Mu, but, when is your graduation date? When do you plan on graduating?
I will graduate December of 2004.
Well, that's exciting because you can see the light now. You're getting over the hill. What is your major?
I'm a double major in management and marketing, which I just recently added marketing this semester. So that's what's keeping me here till December.
How is the pageant work with Phi Mu? What are you guys are involved in?
Well, the Miss SAU pageant, we sponsor the Miss SAU pageant. We have for the past 3 years. We're in charge of pretty much running it. We put it together. We find the judges. We are in charge of the whole itinerary for the day, as far as like when their interviews are. We do all the decorations. We do all the production. We sell the program ads. It's a really big deal for Phi Mu because it's a lot of hard work and effort from our members, and it also gives us a chance to raise money for our Philanthropy Children's Miracle Network.
Is that y'all's biggest fundraiser you do each year for?
It usually is our biggest fundraiser. Now this semester we had a pretty big fundraiser for Philanthropy. We had a bowl-a-thon where every member came and we bowled for an hour. And we did pledges. Every member got pledges, and we raised almost $1,000.
Well, that's exciting for those
it's really
kids.
exciting.
Does Phi Mu have any members in sports? And are they able to be involved as everyone else is?
We do have members in sports, and they aren't able to be as involved, but yeah, they still manage to be involved, which I think is highly commendable of them, because we have 4 members who are softball players. We have a basketball player, we have cheerleaders, and we have people on the dance team. And I think that just, it says so much for them, because not only are they handling school and work and their sports, but also Phi Mu. And a lot of them, most of them are really involved. So that says a lot about them.
Mm-hmm. Well, getting back to Miss SAU pageant, are there certain people that Phi Mu nominates to run this pageant? Because it's so important, and it's not only important for Phi Mu, but for the school as well.
Right. We have people actually volunteer, people who volunteer to be over different committees and actually in charge of the whole thing. And the 2 people that decided to do it this year, they have to go to a workshop. They had to go to a workshop, Miss Arkansas workshop, because Miss SAU is a preliminary for Miss Arkansas. So there's certain guidelines and regulations that we have to follow. So they have to be sure that they do everything right.
So it is a lot of time and effort,
yeah.
and to volunteer for, anyways.
Right.
This past week, one of your sisters was involved in the fire that was in Talbot. How does everything work out with that?
Well, a lot of her things were destroyed, and a lot of organizations on campus and churches around and just students on their own have been helping out and donating money or items. And what we decided to do was whenever something happens like that, you lose a lot. You lose just about everything, and you don't think about the little things that you lose as well as the big things. And so what we decided to do was take a collection of items from every member, things that maybe they had an extra laying around that they never used before, any pictures that they had of them with the member, they had maybe had them framed for them, and we also took up money for the member that was involved, for her to get the things that she needs, and we put it all together to give to her. So, and we're always here for her, so to support her. Not just with the physical things, but with the emotional support.
Right, because you think, oh my gosh, I lost 13 pair of jeans, and you think about those jeans, but then you think about those things that really meant a lot to you. Mm-hmm. I know I was speaking to her the other day, and she just wasn't only talking about her 13 pair of jeans she lost, but about pictures she had and just little mementos that, you keep around that
you can't get back.
That's right, and it's important. What about other people? If something like that happens, like her roommate, has Phi Mu done anything for her?
Phi Mu, we haven't actually, I think some of our members have given her things just like we did the other girl who was involved. But we're here for her emotionally too. And I know a lot of the churches and organizations around campus have done things for both of them.
And that's important,
yeah.
Not only for them, but to know that they have friends there as well.
Right.
Well, Anne, we'd like to thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.